Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo of recent brought out this tweet that I must say really annoyed nearly every guy in this Nigerian space, because we have come to understand that Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo seemed to be pandering towards the female audience, and we understand. I think I covered the news on Reverend Sam Omoye, where I commended him because I said it is rare for me to find pastors give women honest answers. And so right here he's saying that we already have an issue, ladies and gentlemen. We have a shortage of quality men, blah 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 blah. And I'll play this video for you. This guy gave his own reason, and I really like his explanation here. Is detailed, and when you give explanations that move down from history down to this place, it really makes a lot of sense for me. And so after this video, I think I should look for the tweet where Pastor Kingsley came out and said, all right, somebody said I should define quality men. And so, ladies and gentlemen, ladies, tell them what a quality man is. And I love the responses right there where people were saying, no, you were the one who came up with that statement, shortage of quality men. So you define for us what you mean by quality men. And I think up till now we are yet to get a response from him. But before then, check out this video and hear what he has to say.
So Pastor Kingsley says there is a scarcity of quality men in this generation. Let me read this tweet directly so I don't misquote him. He says, a lot of men I see can't lead or marry the women of this generation. Right here, I already have a point. Pastor Kingsley is saying that there is a difference between the women of this generation and the women in the previous generation, meaning that women have changed. Let's keep the thought. He says, there are three kinds of marriages. I've skipped that. He says, the cultural is more common with Africans, and it thrived in the past because women were not given so much access to education and most didn't work. Men also largely married with long age difference to make submission easier. All of the above have changed, so it is a tougher scenario for the men of this age. Now, my first question to Pastor Kingsley is, why is it okay for the women to change, but it's a problem that the men are changing? Don't you realize that the changes you're seeing in men of this generation is an adaptation of the changes the women have already made or are making? Now, what I want to say is my opinion, right? This is not what I consider facts, like when I'm talking about real estate or economics or anything. So you're free to argue. You don't have to agree with me. This is what I think. The way marriages or heterosexual relationships used to work was this. The man goes out every day, lays down his life on the line to feed his family. The woman stays at home, nurtures the family, waiting for the man to come back to give him good care, love, food, and sex. The man goes out the next day, and the cycle continues. But at a point, the women felt that the work they were doing at home was tougher than the war this man was fighting outside.
Housewives do the work of 10 people. They do the work of nannies, they do the work of cooks, cleaners, sex workers, therapists. They do all of these things. They do the work that many different people do and they get paid for. The world couldn't operate properly without housewives taking care of the home. Anyone who has a wife at home who's taking care of the home, taking care of the children, is only able to do that because this force is being held down. Do you see what I mean? Literally, they make the world go around. And anybody who sits in the walk the shoes of a housewife for one day, we realize that it's not a game. It's not a joke. Think about how hard it is to take care of just yourself, right? And then think of someone who's taking care of how many people. It's not a joke. Every day.
And they said, no, the men come and do this work we are doing here. It's tougher. Let us go and fight those wars. We believe that one is easier. Now, society said, okay, women, we'll give you access to equal opportunities. Come and compete with men in whatever it is they are doing. But the problem? At a point, women realize that, this one was tougher. And they start to run back home. That's why you hear some girls saying, I'm not ready for this independent life. I don't know it's like this. So I just want a man that will come and take me, that will just come and take care of me, stuff like that. Then you have the other group of women that are fighting those wars, but they refuse to bring their spoils back home. So the men are sharing the work with them at home, but they make the one they make outside and keep it to themselves. Those are the men you hear say, my money is my money, his money is our money. Men are not stupid. I'm not here to argue whether childbirth, pregnancy, or home care is tough. No. But you're saying that you want equal measure in house chores, Abi. And then men are now saying, okay, for this financial burden I'm carrying, we also want equal measure. That's why you're not hearing the whole women should go 50-50, and we're having this debate about what is the responsibility of a man, what is the responsibility of a woman. But women want to share want men to share the responsibility in the home with them, but want the man to carry 100% of the financial burden. And the men are seeing this and saying it's not balanced. And that's why we are having a lot of men getting delusioned with the whole concept of marriage, because they are like, there's nothing in it for me. I go out every day, I fight, I lay down my life on the line. I come back home to a woman that feels she's cheated because she's doing her own part, she's holding her own end of the bargain. Or I come back to a woman that expects me to come and also share with her own responsibility while carrying 100% of my own responsibility. So this is what I think is the problem our generation have or has. You have modern so-called woke or modern women still expecting the benefit of the older women. Women are always saying, oh, we did not inherit the silence of our mothers. Do you think men did not see the things their own fathers went through in marriages? Or you think it's only women that were going through stuff in marriages? The problem is that men just don't talk. And that's why I see influencers like Gege, this JJ Exclusive. That's why I see they are gathering a lot of followers because they are speaking what men have been keeping in mind.
And that's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, he said it all. Is there anything else for me to say? He has said it all, and I totally agree with him. And it is not like I'm not looking at things from a woman angle or from women angle. But like he said, fine, women complained, right? And then men said no problem. Go ahead. I mean, women did not used to vote before, and then now they give them voting rights. Women did not have access to education. They give them access to education. In fact, right now, men are even at a disadvantage point, and I have never seen an empowerment for widowers. I have never seen an empowerment for widowers. It is always widows cause. Girl child empowerment. So not only did they actually give women the same access to men, the same access that men had to every single thing that men used to have in our social sphere. Added to that again, they still even incentivized more, and then also added more empowerment here and there. So, but still, you still see women still complain. Like virtually they are insatiable. It is difficult for you to say, look at everything you have here. Is it not enough? They still tell you it's not enough. In fact, they still even complain that in the workspace, men are still dominating. I mean, and that statement it doesn't make sense in my ear when you say men are dominating, men are trying to prevent women from. When you look at the workspace where men work, you don't see another man crying and saying this other man is dominating. No. Because of course everybody is out there, is a war field, so you are not supposed to expect anybody to just give it to you. Every man that you see that rose to the top or is having one way or the other, he fought to have it. Now that you have been given the opportunity and say, oh yeah, now here is the field, is the battlefield, come get it. You can't just expect men to say, oh yeah, take. But you know what is funny? Men actually still even say, oh yeah, take, because there's even a higher chance that when a man and a woman goes for a job interview, the woman gets it. So even in spite of the fact that women still even get it more easier than men get it, they still don't recognize that. They don't recognize it. So how else again is it going to work? Now, in terms of the marriage angle, men, like he said, men are not fools. You said fine, you want to earn your money, because when you look at part of the reasons that women give us to why their own ancestors, their women, their mothers, their grandparents endure some of the things was because of economic dependence on men. Finally, now you want to be economically independent. So you go out now, you work, you have access to funds, education, every single thing, skills, acquisition, and those things that could at least empower you economically. Now that you have it, you only want to keep it to yourself. Like when men were going out there to hustle, they were hustling only for themselves. When he goes get the bread, he brings it home. It's more like, when Estavilla said that marriage is slavery to men, this was what she meant, that men go out there and then he tills the ground and then he boils everything down, all for who? For his family, and he comes and lays it at the feet of the wife. This was what she meant. Now a woman now goes out there and hustle. Does she come down to lay it at the feet of her husband, or even at least for the sake of the family? No, she's now come down and say, just like he said, that they want the benefit of modern times but not the responsibility. And so now they say they get the bread now, and then they say their money is their money, and then they still also want you to take care of every single thing. There was a video I was watching, it really pained me that I haven't come across the video again because I didn't save it, or I think I'll still look for it and talk about that video, and I'll talk about it here, where the guy said that in UK he brought his girlfriend, his Nigerian girlfriend, to UK, and then when he brought her to UK, he was earning $2,500 or £2,700, I think. And then as at then, when she came, she wasn't working, so he was taking care of everything. Then finally, when she finished school, she now got a job also in the same medical field as he is working, and so she was now earning, I think, £2,500, if I'm to be correct. I'm not really sure. But then the difference between their salaries was just £200. And so now that she was working, he realized that she was working, and he has been taking care of everything before she stood on her feet. So he now called her and said, fine, this is how it is, we have to just split the bills, but what will happen is that I will take the larger one, I think by a difference of like 200 pounds or so. And he said ever since that time her mood changed. But when you look at it very well, if the guy wasn't in the picture, one should take care of herself. One should take care of herself. Secondly, you that you are working, why would you be working without even having the mindset of that when I earn I have to even do something? So does it mean that you actually sought for all this empowerment in the name of feminism, but you didn't actually think of it with the aim of contributing to even the life itself? And when you look very well, you see that the economic sphere is more like the income that comes from men that keeps going into the economic sphere. The one from women, it does not multiply. They use it for themselves. They don't use it to empower people, except in cases where I understand the love between sisters and brothers. So the women help more their brothers or their fathers or their own relatives, but they don't put it out there. They don't see sharing it with their husband or someone they even do claim they love, which begs the question that does love really exist from the female angle? And then which certifies the answer that people say that women are in business, men are in love. And so when you look at all of these things, it's not even complex. So because I wanted to say it's complex, but it is not complex. It is very, very visible. Yeah, we can see it is clear. And men are not stupid. And that is what Kingsley Okonkwo is failing to address. Instead, coming here trying to blackmail men so that men can now fall into the definition of shortage of quality men. Men cannot try to put themselves or try to be what quality men is. And when you look at his own definition of quality men, it simply means a fool who at the end of the day will take the traditional position, allow his wife to have access to all the modern accessories, and then now she has access to the social sphere. She earns money, she does everything, but then she's still going to keep her money to himself. Why he is going to take care of everything? And then that's what they call the quality man, because they expect guys to be fools. That is what most of these pastors expect, and it really annoys me very much. So you expect the guy to be a fool or what? Man, it's annoying, man. It's fucking annoying. Even though I'm not a proponent of marriage, but then when it comes to discussions like this, it's very obvious that something should be said. And I really love this guy. I'm already following this guy. He's a dope analyst, and I think he talks about real estate, a whole lot of other things. You should check him out. Born Nord James. A big shout out to you, brother. Yeah.